Straight ahead on CCX News, the Super Bowl impact spreads its wings to Crystal.
Pretty much all hours of the day we could see additional aircraft.
Plus, local coaches use Super Bowl week to stress the importance of character.
We say integrity is defined by doing things right even when nobody's looking.
And what brings out the best in a child's education? We head to a Plymouth elementary school, the focus of today's school spotlight. CCX News starts right now.
Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us. 5 days until the Super Bowl, and many visitors are flying into regional airports for the big game.
Reporter SONYA GOINS shows us how the Crystal Airport is preparing for the extra traffic.
People who could afford to fly their own plane or hire one are going to the big game in style.
People are coming from all over the country and other countries as well to take in the festivities.
About 41,000 airplanes fly in and out of the Crystal Airport each year. But that number is expected to increase during the Super Bowl.
Here at Crystal, we anticipate about 150 or more additional aircraft.
If Flying Cloud or Anoka airports get a lot of traffic, they could be directed to fly into Crystal.
We could see any number of piston aircraft or jets coming into Crystal or any of the other reliever airports. We are prepared.
Crystal Airport Manager Philip TIEDEMAN says they've been getting ready for the Super Bowl for about a year.
And we've been working with other partners on the field, like the FAA, the controllers here, to make sure that we have plenty of staff.
And they're making other changes as well.
Thunderbird Aviation is preparing as well, getting additional staff to the airport so they can help accommodate the increase in demand. We've got our maintenance personnel and other staff preparing in case it does snow so that we can keep the airport open.
The busiest days are expected to be on Saturday and Sunday, and then after the game on Monday.
You could see an increase in noise pretty much all hours of the day.
Crystal Airport is also implementing protocol changes for pilots.
There are 4 runways here at Crystal Airport, but starting on Wednesday, only 1 will be operational. Officials say it'll help cut down on confusion and help with air traffic flow.
No matter how many visitors arrive at Crystal, officials here say they hope to score a touchdown when it comes to customer service.
We hope to meet that with a high level of service and being very courteous to our neighbors.
In Crystal, SONYA GOINS, CCX News.
Officials will use some runways to park planes. Meanwhile, Flying Cloud Airport officials in Eden Prairie say they have nearly sold out of reservations.
If heading downtown for Super Bowl activities with your family feels a bit daunting, well, there's a fun option that's closer to home. Maple Grove Sports Dome will open its doors Thursday evening for a youth football combine. It's free and open to all girls and boys between kindergarten and 8th grade. Kids will have an opportunity to burn some energy on the field with all kinds of athletic activities. Former Minnesota Viking linebacker turned analyst Pete Bursich will be there, along with players from Maple Grove and Osseo high schools.
We're going to do like the 40-yard dash, the vertical jump, raw jump. And we're going to do some fun things like field goal kicking. They're going to do diving catches. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think we have 11 stations set up for the kids to run around and get some energy out.
The event is free, but you are urged to register ahead of time on the Maple Grove City website. The event runs from 6 to 9 on Thursday night. Well, even at the high school level, there can be a win-at-all-cost mindset these days.
Some local coaches, however, want to change that. Eric Nelson tells us about a Super Bowl-related event where the goal was to create a culture of care for student athletes.
Tell me about his character. Tell me about what kind of kid I'm going to have come into my institution. Can they make us a better school? Not a football program, but a school.
In the ultra-competitive world of high school sports, character does count.
The purpose of sport in students' lives is helping them to become better people, their human growth and development.
Today in Minneapolis, a group of prep ADs and coaches from across Minnesota took part in a seminar that focused on character and integrity.
We say integrity is defined by doing things right even when nobody's looking.
One of those attending was Cooper football coach Willie Howard, who wants his young athletes to be top-notch players and people.
Even the greatest, like a Kobe Bryant, at some point the sport is going to end. And so if you don't build up the characteristics for these young men and women early on, it's going to be hard for them all of a sudden to flip on the light switch and say, okay, now it's time for me to say I got to be a man of integrity.
In a culture obsessed with winning, the $15 billion youth sports industry has fostered unrealistic expectations. Some believe it is out of control.
The value of what sport is no longer about students. It's now about really how we can have professional careers and make a living and have all of the success in national tournaments.
In most cases, chasing athletic dreams is fool's gold. Only 1% of prep athletes make the pros, and less than 3% play college sports.
That means 97% of our kids are going to have a terminal experience. When they graduate from high school, their playing days are pretty much over.
Today's seminar is a byproduct of Super Bowl 52. The NFL's goal is to leave behind a positive legacy in the Twin Cities with events like this.
They have a platform that really has provided an opportunity to go out and to challenge the current status quo.
This great big old event that's happening in Minneapolis, the Super Bowl, is only made possible by creating great young men and women through sports as a driven force.
In Minneapolis, I'm Eric Nelson, CCX News.
The seminar wants to see more transformational coaches, that is, those who can grow and develop student athletes.
In Maple Grove today, elected officials, faith leaders, and nonprofits dug into what they say is a growing affordable housing crisis. Brooklyn Center City Council member Dan Ryan was among those who spoke at the event. Affordable housing is an issue in his city where more than 20% of households live below the poverty level. There's also concern, not just in Brooklyn Center but across the metro, that affordable housing will soon become unaffordable once the property owner sells.
There are a set of policies that we can take to protect tenants from being displaced and having all those buildings be flipped into out of affordability. Also a set of policies at the state level where we can invest in affordable housing to try to keep up, because our state and our communities have not been keeping up with the need for affordable housing, and our wages have not been keeping up with the price of housing.
The Met Council estimates that there are 30,000 units across the Twin Cities at risk of being flipped out of affordability over the next 20 years. Housing is considered affordable when it consumes no more than 30% of a person's income.
We know parenting can be stressful, but life can be just as stressful for teens, with situations that end up having lifelong repercussions. On Wednesday evening, an event in Brooklyn Center will delve into the impact of stress and adverse effects on teens. It's called The Stress of Parenting, a look at mental health in adolescence. A psychotherapist will be on hand to talk about the many issues that affect youth and how to overcome those challenges.
Things like trauma and toxic stress, it's something that's really common among young people. Trauma could range from anything to witnessing a traumatic event, to experiencing something like abuse, to being in a car accident.
The session runs Wednesday from 6 to 7:30 at the Brooklyn Center Community Center. Still ahead, what a Plymouth elementary school believes is the key to student achievement. That's next in School Spotlight.
Plus, the Armstrong-Cooper boys hockey team gets set to play a conference championship. Preview of their big game later in sports.
But first, relatively comfortable throughout the day on Wednesday. Then a Super Bowl cold front moves in on Wednesday night. We'll be right back.
Well, here's a question for you. What is the key to student achievement?
The staff at Zachary Lane Elementary believes it is having a good partnership between homeschool and the community. In today's School Spotlight, reporter Shannon Slatton explains how Zachary Lane keeps students ready to learn.
Starting your week off with cheers and smiles is hard to beat.
This week we're trying to build a habit, we're trying to build a culture and character in the students so that it becomes part of who they are.
A week focused on kindness at Zachary Lane Elementary began with a kindness tunnel formed by parents, staff, and community members. But that was only the beginning.
When I say kindness, you say matters. Kindness? Kindness? Oh yeah.
Character building is a big part of this Plymouth elementary school. Notice all the green? That's because at Zachary Lane today, students are sprouting kindness, and that's easy to see around the school.
Be nice, be kind, help your dad.
It's our chain of kindness and how we can help each other. Lots of good ideas. Lots of good ideas, and they worked very hard.
Kindergartners in Miss Buca's class brainstormed ways to be kind and wrote them down on a chain. They practiced handwriting and creative thinking skills, but had fun too. And that's the whole point.
When students come to the school, they're going to learn better if they're comfortable, if they really enjoy being here. And that's not just with us as staff, but with each other.
That paves the way for rigorous academic instruction for students of every age and ability.
We're really working hard to make sure that the rigor is there for our kids. We know that the community that feeds this school expects great things for their kids, and that's what we're trying to deliver.
Each teacher uses different techniques to keep students comfortable and ready to learn. Kindergarten students learn in small sections of time, so they have plenty of time to move.
So they were doing something called Daily 5, and it's just a chance for them to practice independent reading. And so you saw some kids that were reading independently and some were reading with a partner independently. So they were taking turns reading to each other.
Another classroom keeps students comfortable by using minimal fluorescent lighting and incorporating as much natural light as possible. This classroom has flexible seating arrangements where students can stand or sit. But in every classroom, you will see one constant: I can statements outlined in the front of the room that keep academic goals clear.
So if you say, I can learn math facts, the student knows then this is what I'm supposed to be learning on. If you know what you're supposed to be focusing on, you're going to get a better result.
And when the focus is kindness, students deliver.
Try to be kind in every way.
And just to see the kids glowing internally because they were doing something kind, it's really neat to see in the kids.
Students surpassing expectations is what teachers have come to expect at Zachary Lane Elementary. In Plymouth, Shannon Slatton, CCX News.
Still ahead, a Crystal Elementary School strings together a fun musical performance.
But first, not long ago, he was making big plays against Wayzata and Hopkins. Now a former Minnetonka star will chase Tom Brady at Sunday's Super Bowl. John Jacobson hears from him next in sports.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. Perhaps you've heard, it's Super Bowl week here in Minnesota. Monday night, players from both teams were available for the media. We talked to Eagles defensive lineman Beau Allen, who first made his name feasting on opposing quarterbacks and running backs in the Lake Conference not too many years ago.
What do you remember about those days and playing against some great teams from Wayzata and Hopkins and Eden Prairie and schools like that?
Yeah, I loved it, man. I actually tweeted something out earlier this week about, playing youth football and then coming back to Minnesota. And it was funny because James Laurinaitis, who was a great linebacker from Wayzata, commented on just talking some trash about like Go Trojans, something like that. It's kind of fun because I remember watching him when I was, in middle school, for Wayzata in their high school. So that was just kind of a unique experience that I had. But no, I loved everything about playing Friday nights at Minnetonka, and to come back here now in this kind of situation is really cool.
In your wildest dreams, could you have thought, hey, maybe 9-10 years or so, I'll be in the Super Bowl?
I don't know if I'm that creative, to be honest with you. I don't know if I would come up with that, but it does feel really picturesque, I guess.
This week, how do you block out all the distractions of family and friends and everybody wanting a little piece of it?
Yeah, no, I was kind of talking about that earlier. I think I need to be a guy that's comfortable with saying no. So I gotta, I understand that the game is obviously the most important thing, and just hone in on that with laser focus and do whatever I have to do to get ready. So I gotta, sometimes tell people no, sometimes tell my mom no, which is not an easy thing for me. But no, everyone's been really cool and understanding. It's just, obviously everyone's excited, and I got a lot of people reaching out to me and showing me support. So it's cool, but I need to make sure I remain focused. Absolutely.
Allen added that he's letting his family figure out which of them and their extended family gets his limited number of game tickets for Sunday. We're heading down the stretch of the regular season in boys hockey. As Jay Wilcox reports, Armstrong-Cooper will play for a title later this week.
A second straight conference title is within reach. A victory in an overtime thriller over Irondale last week pushed Armstrong-Cooper into first place in the West Division of the Northwest Suburban.
Well, it's a lot of fun, especially when playing at home. You get to play in front of your friends and family.
and to be able to get the win in overtime is a good feeling. We're going to just try to keep that going.
You know, it's really what hockey's about here. You don't want to play for those blowouts, those tight ones where you battle up, you trust the guy next to you to make a play for you, so you'll make the play for him and everything. And just getting that last goal, there's no better feeling than selling with your teammates in the student section and everything.
The Wings lead Champlain Park by 2 points in the conference standings. The Rebels have 2 league games left while the Wings have 1. Their last conference game could be a winner-take-all matchup Saturday against Champlain Park if the Rebels beat Coon Rapids Thursday. The first AC versus Champlain Park game was a 3-3 tie.
Oh, I think they'll be ready to go, you know. We'll be ready to go too. You know, they kind of took 2 points from us last time we were in our barn. They scored 2 late goals, so we kind of felt like, what the heck, you know. So we're looking forward to get back after it. But last year, you know, we played them in their barn and we beat them to capture the title. So it's just going to be a fun game. I think everyone's going to be ready.
Prior to the Champlain Park game, Armstrong-Cooper takes on a much improved St. Louis Park team. Both are in Section 6AA, and it'll give the Wings a measuring stick as they aim to win their first section game in several years.
Well, definitely, yeah, to see the competition that we're up against in the sections, and so again, we're just going to go out there and play our game and see how it adds up to.
We like our play here. We're pretty simple. We never dark horse people overlook us, and we can come out and play our style of hockey like we have been lately. I definitely like our chances to make a little run in sections.
It's been a close battle for the NWSC West title, and Armstrong-Cooper is hoping to close the deal this weekend. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
Armstrong-Cooper hosts St. Louis Park Thursday and then plays Champlain Park at the Champlain Ice Forum Saturday night. We'll hear from the Rebels later this week on CCX. That's all for sports. Alex and Mike, back to you.
All right, thank you, John. Up next, a concert with the help of an instrument that's made a comeback.
Neill Elementary students embrace the uke when we come back. And finally, kids in Crystal discover the ukulele, giving a concert at Neill Elementary School a very different sound.
Well, for the first time, ukuleles joined the ensemble for a concert called the 5th Grade Throwdown. Music teacher Denise Dewar was looking for a way to reinvigorate music for her class, and with the help of a friend who teaches ukulele, she came up with the idea.
Some kids who singing is not their favorite thing, but playing an instrument might be really intriguing to them. We also have kids who are already in orchestra and in band, and this might be just another avenue for them to show what they already know. Hey, another instrument, now I can play 2 or 3.
Donations bought 30 ukuleles for the school, and the group will perform for parents tonight. That's Tuesday at 6:30 at the school. And no, they did not play Tiptoe Through the Tulips. They played Beethoven.
Beethoven, very nice.
On the ukulele.
Not too many people can say they've played the ukulele. That's great.
Right. That'll do it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
We will see you back here again on Wednesday, starting at 4 o'clock.